I want to go through my morning routine. Now, I don't rely on natural sunlight in order to wake up in the morning. After all, you can probably tell from my accent that I'm from the UK, and as you probably know, we don't get a lot of sunlight here, even at the peak of summer. So, rather than being reliant on the elements, I will opt to use an alarm clock. Now, once I get up, I find that an early start isn't really enough to get me motivated for the day. Yes, I've got hours ahead, but being awake in those hours isn't really enough to get me going. So, I'll opt to do some exercise. Now, I'm aware that David Goggins thinks this is cheating, but who cares? If I enjoy it more, I'll do it. So what I'll do is I'll listen to some music of some sort, any music of my choice. It could be a movie score, it could be the 60s to 80s rock era. But if I have a change of taste, I can choose pretty much anything. And that's pretty cool to think about when you consider that not so long ago, people didn't actually have access to pretty much any song they wanted within a matter of seconds. Following this, I'll then have a shower. Now, notice that I can wash myself. I can be clean within a matter of, minutes. I don't need to walk to a river. I don't need to commute to the nearest beach. I literally have a means of cleaning myself in my own home. And as if all this wasn't amazing enough already, I can then go downstairs, fill up a kettle, turn the switch on, open a bag of pre-ground coffee that was grown many, many, many miles away, and within just a matter of minutes after coming out of my shower, I've got a really nice, freshly brewed bit of coffee right in front of me. Now, if you go through all of those things that I've just listed out, you're probably thinking, so? Yeah, that's just normal. But I think if you asked anybody if this has been available to our species, I think the overwhelming majority of people would agree that no, it has not. And you don't need to be an historian to know that the answer to this is unequivocally no. And yet, we don't seem to rave about it to the extent that I think we should. Notice, these things aren't just items or ideas that just grow on trees. These things haven't come automatically to our species. And there are some cases, for example, the case of running water with a functioning plumbing system, they came in during the Roman Empire, but they disappeared for quite some time afterwards. So it's not as if when these things come in, they're necessarily here to stay. So what's going on here? How are these things coming to be? Why are these things coming into existence? And I guess the question that I really have, and I want to get to the heart of, is why is it the case that this phenomena, which really is called progress, And you can call it economic progress, you can call it material progress, or you could call it spiritual progress in the case of, say, the music being widely available. But I think the overarching word here really is progress. And why is it the case that it's proved to be so elusive to our species for, it doesn't even bear thinking about how large a fraction of mankind's lifetime we haven't experienced progress. This is a very, very recent phenomenon, and not one that we should take for granted. And furthermore, you might have thought when I was listing out those issues that what I'm dealing with are pretty trivial issues. I mean, I don't think those are trivial issues. I think all those things greatly enhance my life. But if you want to go down to really fundamental things, like, say, people's ability to read and write, our longevity, our access to healthcare, our ability to fight off diseases, all of these things, in parallel with what I've just said, have also been improving by many, many factors. Literacy rates are higher than ever been before. Infant mortality is incredibly low. Our scientific understanding of the human body, as infuriating as it can be, when you get all this different advice when it comes to things like nutrition, how much we should exercise, I won't go on. But in spite of this sort of whirlwind of recommendations that we're getting, we still know an awful lot more about the human body than we did just 20 years ago. So these issues are not trivial. These really come down to life or death situations. Are we going to be able to live until we're 80, provided that we look after ourselves well enough? Or are we going to die at the age of 40 after doing back-breaking work for pretty much every day of our adult life? Now, the stakes for these things are high. They're incredibly high. As much as I enjoyed learning about the physical world during my physics classes, I don't think the stakes there were as high as the stakes are here. If we really want to make sure that we continue living flourishing lives, then surely we should know why progress only occurs in some places and not in others, in some eras and not in others. For example, why is it the case that North Korea continues to be a destitute wasteland compared to, say, the United States, United Kingdom, the European Union, and not even just Western countries, but many, many other countries, including its nearest neighbour? Why was it the case that an industrial revolution occurred in Great Britain but took a lot longer to kick off in China? And it's these sorts of questions that I really want to dig deep into, understand why. We wouldn't laugh at somebody for wanting to inquire about a berry they've just picked from a bush to see if that berry is good for you or poisonous to you. So I don't see any reason why we should dismiss the idea that investigating why some civilizations flourish and continue to exist while others do not, stagnate, and eventually collapse. These are really important questions, and I don't think we're giving these sorts of questions the attention they deserve. And so, why am I making this video? This is an intro to anybody out there, or an invitation to join me on this journey of answering these key questions. What exactly is progress? Where has it occurred? Why has it occurred? And why? Why has it taken so long for our species to eventually reach this state of flourishing? And can this state of flourishing continue? If not, be accelerated. My name is Ben Garson, and welcome to Progress Unlocked.